Parker here, Water Reuse Project Manager with Rainwater Management Solutions. And right now I'm going to explain a rack mount filtration and UV sterilization system. After the water is pre-filtered and enters the storage tank, it is then pumped through a rack mount filtration and sterilization system like this. This is perfect for a residential system or even a light commercial. Systems like this can go from 8 gallons per minute up to 22 gallons per minute. So you can customize the flow rate for either a home, small business, something like that. The key with these is we have a 2-stage filtration elements before the water even gets to the UV sterilizer. These are 20-inch by 4.5-inch wide filter sumps, commonly called big blue filters. The first will be a sediment filter. In this example, we have a 1 micron string wound sediment filter. The string creates a matrix around a hollow poly tube. So the water has to penetrate all of this depth of filtration before it gets to a channel and then moves to the next chamber. The next chamber will be an activated carbon filter. This is excellent for neutralizing chemicals. Of course, with rooftop rainwater, there are not a lot of chemicals found in rainwater, so its main function is to keep the water fresh and tasting really good. Carbon being an excellent refresher of water. These filtration units will come with a wrench whereby you can remove and replace the filters in the filter sumps. We recommend replacing them around 3 or 4 times a year, but it's going to vary by water quality and frequency of use. We have certain customers who get away with replacing them maybe twice a year, others maybe a bit more. Very importantly, we have a UV sterilizer. The importance of getting the water filtered down to 5 micron, preferably 1 micron, before it gets to the UV chamber is so that the water is as crystal clear as possible. If you do have a bacteria or, God forbid, a virus in your water, it can hide behind a piece of sediment. Therefore, the light will be shining toward the bacteria, but being behind the piece of sediment, it is in the shadow of the UV. Therefore, it's not getting the full sterilization effect of the UV. That's why it's important to get the water as crystal clear as possible before it passes through the UV chamber. The UV light present in this chamber is, again, sized per flow rate. It'll be good up to a certain GPM. The intensity of the UV will be dependent on the clarity of the water and the power that the light gets. Now, what we're looking for in water sterilization is UV intensity that is just enough to disable a bacteria or a virus. We're not looking to kill it outright. That's a lot of radiation, that's a lot of power. We're looking to just disable the chromosome that would replicate the bacteria or the virus, therefore rendering it basically innocuous. So with this unit, you have a UV bulb. You can see that it looks similar to a fluorescent light. And it has elements and it will shine consistently throughout. Since it's going to be in the presence of water, it will go into a quartz sleeve chamber. Thereby, the water can go freely around it without water interfering with the electrical parts of the bulb itself. The quartz sleeve is a crystal clear medium so that the water can penetrate through and achieve optimal transmittance. You will, on a unit like this, you will change the bulb once a year. On this model, we have a UV controller. It's very similar to the ballast for a fluorescent light. This will affix to the front. It will have a few indicator lights if there are a fault in the bulb or the controller, or if there were a flow meter. In this display, you will have a list of days. When you replace the bulb, it will reset to 365. It is a 1-year bulb. And then it will count down from there. Once it gets to 0, you know it's time to replace the bulb. Just like the overhead fluorescent lights, they will dim over time. It's the same theory with the UV bulb. Overall, we have excellent results with the UV technology for water sterilization. It's chemical free, doesn't affect taste, doesn't affect, there are no chemicals in the water. You will have O-rings to replace and very simple threaded pieces. Changing out the bulb will be as simple as unthreading it, pulling it out, disconnecting it. Likewise, this entire unit will mount to the wall. You can use heavy lag screws there. And if you come over here, you will have a 1-inch threaded connection. Likewise, on the other side, when the water exits the UV, you will have a companion threaded part. So these are very simple to plumb in, plumb out. We call this unit a plug and play. Mount it, plug in, plug out, and you're good to go. Excellent for stored rainwater, but also good for people who are concerned about the quality of their city water. Can't go wrong with the UV light. If your water's already clear, you can buy just a UV light separate. We'll go over those later. These are also very common for wells. You're pulling water out of the ground. You're going to have quite a bit of sediment. You may have chemicals in your groundwater, which can be neutralized by carbon. Get your water tested. See the list of contaminants which may be in your groundwater. Some of them may be neutralized by activated carbon, not all will. Make sure you know the safety and efficacy of the filtration that you're using. You will also find bacteria in groundwater, unfortunately, especially if you live in a rural area, if there's farming and there's animals that can get into your groundwater. So you always want to check for coliform, E. coli, things like that. UV is excellent treatment for those bacteria. These come in various models, different manufacturers. This one happens to be a Viqua. They are just about a household name in the UV and sterilization world. Again, very easy to use. A common residential plumber can do it. A very handy DIY person can actually install one of these themselves. So if you're in need of filtration, don't be afraid to look up the rack mount filtration and sterilization units. Thank you.